Hey guys, and welcome to Daniel and Gian Talk, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 2019 film Total Dhamaal. Now I just have to say this right off the bat, I have yet to see any of the other previous entries in the series, and based on the trailer I kind of got the indication that that's probably not a thing that I need to worry about. And so going into this movie, I can tell you I was expecting absurdist humor, just pure scene-based situational comedy, and I gotta say that's exactly what I got. A whole lot of ridiculousness, a whole lot of just light-hearted moments, and just comedy, just pure situational comedy. And as a result, sometimes that results in, lack of character development, lack of a solid story, lack of a lot of other foundational principles to making a solid film. And unfortunately, that's true with this film as well. But to be honest with you, I had a good time. I knew what I was watching was bad, but I'm laughing. The people in the theaters were also laughing. Is there something really wrong with that? Now, as an outsider who kind of just started watching Indian films the last 2 years, I'm gonna say, no, I don't see an issue with it. But people who are born with this, maybe this film is just too far, too much. I don't know though, because I'm not familiar with the other two entries in the series. However, based on the trailer, I kind of get the idea that this is just a continuation of what fans have liked. I mean, why else would they make a part 3? Now, AJ Devgin's in this one, and he plays like a quasi bad guy, good guy. Because there really isn't a bad guy in this film. As I've mentioned previously, because of all the situational humor, you do lose character development. You do lose a traditional story of good versus evil. Basically what you get is a retelling of It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World or Rat Race, or pick any other movie that's like that. It reminded me of early 2000s blockbuster comedy films in America. And that's what I grew up on. So for me, this was kind of like right at home. It fit right in. I mean, there's scenes that are just so ridiculous you just can't help but roll your eyes at. But the fact that they do these things, for me, in a committed fashion is what I enjoyed about it. The film goes with it. The film knows what it is from beginning till end, and I really genuinely appreciate that. Because there isn't a weird tonal shift in the film. It's not a masala film where you have your action, you have your comedy, you have your drama, you have your X, Y, and Z, and this is just a pure adventure comedy. I enjoyed how it set up each set of characters, because there's no one character by himself. Each character has a pair. You have AJ Devgin, his character's set up as he's the catalyst for the movie because he steals the money from the police commissioner and puts all of these events in place. And, it starts off with this repelling scene it just ends up being ridiculous, where literally they're tying they're doing this old school cartoon, like rappelling with fire extinguisher hose, with the hose, and it falls off and they fall, but then they steal the money and they throw the money off the building, and they have another sidekick on the floor who takes the money, and it's this whole scene of absurdity that's at least 10-15 minutes long. But I commend the film for doing that, because you could have made that scene in 3 or 5 minutes, but it went with it. It solidified the tone from the beginning. I mean, right away what to expect. Anil Kapoor and his wife, and they're fighting with each other, and that scene lasts a while, where I wasn't sure if it was serious or comedic or what, but it ends in divorce, and you have the two people who are entrusted to cleaning the museum, and then they freaking destroy the whole museum worth millions of dollars worth of stuff, and the other group who's the guys like praying to God to save him. You have all these little dynamics and dilemmas that are going on, and for the first 30 minutes or so, I was thoroughly entertained. I was like, wow, this is pretty good. And then you get to a point where you've kind of gone through so many of these events, these like situational humor moments, that you kind of lose. At least for me, I kind of was like, okay, let me take a breath here. Like, this is just, it's just comedy scene after comedy scene after comedy scene. And, you know, it does take a little bit of a toll, especially since there's no real story. I mean, you kind of, like I said, it's like a rat race type thing where the money that they stole gets hidden in a zoo, and they all have to get to the zoo, and then they agree that whoever gets there first gets the money, which leads to another series of unfortunate events. I mean, you have a car going off a waterfall and them surviving. You have a helicopter made out of a rickshaw that's, you know, that they use a fan blade as a helicopter blade. Like, all of these things are absurd. And on a normal circumstance, I would be shitting all over it. And I'm sure some of you out there who are watching this video are like, why is Daniel like this? I mean, he should be shitting on this movie. This is a perfect example of a film that Daniel would shit on. You know, why is he giving this film a pass, but he doesn't give Salman Khan a pass? And it comes down to one thing, and I've already mentioned at the beginning of this video, the tone is consistent. I knew what type of film this was going to be from beginning. It didn't pretend to be anything else but this. And as a result, I could enjoy it. Because I love movies. I love all kinds of movies. I mean, this reminded me of my childhood. You know, I didn't watch Indian films, but I saw versions of this. Mr. Bean. I mean, there's certain scenes that were just straight out of a cartoon. Literally, like Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers, old school style of cartoons. I mean, there's a moment where Anil Kapoor like runs into a tree or some shit like that, and he goes, ugh, and he literally slides down like he would in cartoons. And I knew what they were going for. I appreciated it. I mean, there's terrible CGI. Terrible CGI. The helicopter looked terrible. The animals pretty much looked terrible. And the waterfall scene looked terrible. The backgrounds look terrible. There's one shot where like the camera's like flying through and it's going through each car as the race begins. That looked awful. You know, so clearly they were, you know, not all the money went to the special effects. But, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, it's about the characters and how they were interacting with one another. And as a result, like I said, I could appreciate it. You know, would I watch this movie again? No. But does this make me want to watch the other two? Yes, it does. And I'd be curious to check out a part 4 because there's rumored to be a part 4. Not every film needs to be a winner in terms of critical acclaim or audience praise or whatever. Some movies are genuinely meant for just pure entertainment, and that's what this is. I wasn't expecting literally anything else but this, and that's actually one of the reasons why I went to go see it, because I wanted to watch a dumb movie. And I got that. A dumb, fun movie. It was better with the audience. You know, maybe at home, I'm watching in the comfort of my home, I might roll my eyes, I might want to turn it off. But being in that theater was pretty fun, you know, just laughing with everybody and stuff. I will say another technical note, the audio was awful. It was awful. I mean, in certain moments, I thought I was watching a Tamil film. It's not necessarily the sound design, it's the mixing. Just too freaking loud, man. Just fucking pumping shit out. I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not a fan of that. After the movie, I did a YouTube story and I said it 3.5 out of 5. I've had some time to think about it, and I'm about a 3 out of 5. I think that's a solid rating for this film if you want to be entertained, if you're willing to turn your mind off and let the movie just kind of wash over you. If you're not willing to do that, then maybe this movie isn't for you. But as I always say, make up your own mind. Watch the film yourself. Come to your own opinion. Your friends might hate it. You know, your favorite Indian film critics might hate it. People on YouTube might hate it. That doesn't mean you need to hate it. You can enjoy a film for what it is, and there's no one in the world that can tell you otherwise. Let me know in the comments what you guys felt about this film, because I'm genuinely curious to hear. I'm genuinely curious to know. I mean, before I started rolling, I was reading the reviews, and it's getting a 1 star out of Hindustan Times, you know, 2.5 stars, like it's getting super low ratings. And I haven't even bothered to read what the reviews are, because I kind of already know what they're gonna say. Because this is like low-hanging fruit. You go to watch this movie, and if you're gonna go and shit on it, do so. It's your right. But it's kind of one of these things where you kind of just got to know what you're getting into. And I knew what I was getting into. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click the playlist that's on the screen to all of our Dhamaal reactions. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That'll do it for this one. See you guys.